aliveness isn't something you wait for. It's something you choose. And choosing it takes a little bit of rebellion because you're going to have to shut down the sensible voice that says, don't rock the boat, don't make a change, definitely don't start wanting too much.
Hey there, welcome back to the Mischief Movement podcast. I'm Zoe, your guide on this journey to shake up the status quo and design a life that truly makes you feel alive. If you've ever felt disconnected, stuck on autopilot, or trapped in a life that feels more like a treadmill than an adventure, you're in the right place. I know that change can feel scary, so let's turn down the fear and crank up the fierce as we transform your life from the inside out. Whether it's solo episodes packed with actionable advice or interviews with some absolute badass human beings who've dared to defy the norm by living life their way, we're here to inspire, activate, empower, and challenge you each week. My mission is simple: to help you reawaken your rebel spirit, break free from mediocrity, and design a life that's anything but dull. You only get one wild life, so what are you planning to do with yours? If you're ready to stop settling, start living boldly, and create a positive impact along the way, let's dive in and stir up some mischief together. Now buckle up and let's go.
Hey Rebels, and welcome back to the Mischief Movement. Today we're talking about something that honestly changes everything when you let it, and that is aliveness. That spark or pulse, that feeling of being awake in your own life again. And this episode was inspired by a post that I recently read that kind of hit me square in the chest. The hook was, what if aliveness was the goal of your business? And I thought, well, damn, what if aliveness was actually the goal of your entire life? Now, thinking about this, I've also been thinking about my recent birthday celebrations a few weeks back. I didn't plan anything huge. I didn't do anything particularly Instagram worthy, but it ended up being one of the most alive days that I've had in ages. The small things just all added up. My kids made me handmade birthday cards, which, that alone made my heart swell. And we went out for breakfast. Again, it was nothing fancy, but it was something different to do from the normal get ready, rush to school. And then after dropping them at school, I took a solo walk. So had a podcast in my ears and just some time to zone out for a little bit. And then later on, my partner surprised me with a trip to a canyon that I'd never been to before. In fact, neither had he. And we ended up driving up this really windy mountain road near Lake Garda. The weather wasn't perfect, but it didn't really matter because we got to explore. We talked, we laughed. We then had a really lovely lunch, a glass of wine, and there was no rush and no agenda. By the end of the day, I had another surprise coffee with a friend, birthday cake with my kids, calls from my parents, and I just felt something really profound because my day had been so special. Not because I'd planned it meticulously, but because I noticed and embraced the small moments that made it feel alive. I think what really got me was this, that nothing about that day was extravagant. Not really. There weren't any kind of curated, perfect birthday moments. And it was just a stack of tiny things that made me feel alive. It wasn't about Pinterest or performing. It was just me living fully, deeply, and on purpose. And I think that's what I want to take away and share with you this week. It's that aliveness isn't about grand gestures. It's about noticing the moments that make your heart beat a little faster. If you've been with me since the beginning, you'll know I've often mentioned rebelling against the ordinary. And I never want that to become misconstrued. I never want people to think that I can't appreciate the small things. But for me, it's about elevating the experience. It's about taking those ordinary things and making them feel more special, I guess. And the same principle works in your business and in life. How often are you chasing the big win or the next thing or the perfect outcome, only to find that you're missing what already lights you up? If your goal was simply to feel alive in your business, in your work, in your everyday life, what would you change? What bold moves would you make? And what risks would feel worth it? Because I think here's the thing, you can't think your way into aliveness. You have to act. You have to make a choice to step into the rebel who notices, who experiments, and who takes those small actions that then accumulate into something bigger. So I want to flip the spotlight onto you for a second, because if I've learned anything from coaching or mentoring people who feel stuck, it's this. Most people don't even realize that they've lost their aliveness. They don't see it happening. It slips quietly away, and then they wake up one day and go, wow, I feel like this is not the life I'd imagined for myself. Or I feel really disconnected from everything around me. And I mean, I'm talking from personal experience here. I went through this. I felt like, how did I get here? So maybe you've been feeling like that too. Maybe you've experienced that sensation of all your days just blurring together because it's very rinse and repeat, and people ask you how you are and you're like, yeah, fine. Yeah, everything's fine. It's fine. But you never hear yourself saying, it's really good. It's brilliant. I feel great. Things are awesome. It's just fine. Everything maybe feels functional, but never really anything extra. You're doing all the things you're supposed to do, but maybe you don't feel quite like you anymore. You could be exhausted from all the busy stuff that you're doing, but not genuinely fulfilled. Or maybe you just keep telling yourself that you'll get round to it when life calms down, but life never quite does. And it could be that you've hit a point where something inside you is whispering, there has to be more than this, right? I think that whisper is your aliveness calling you back. The truth that most people won't tell you is that aliveness isn't something you wait for. It's something you choose. And choosing it takes courage, takes a little bit of rebellion, because you're going to have to shut down the sensible voice that says, don't rock the boat, don't make a change, definitely don't start wanting too much. And I'm sure you'll have heard it said many times, but that's the voice that keeps you safe. Fine. It does keep you safe, but at the same time, it also keeps you stuck. And here's a great question to ask yourself when it comes to getting unstuck. By saying yes to this, insert your own example, what are you saying no to? So, by saying yes to, I don't know, that job that doesn't light you up, the wrong relationship, or living somewhere you don't like that much, what are you also saying no to? It could be your freedom, an incredible partner, or living in a place that you absolutely love. Aliveness comes back when you start acting like the version of you who doesn't ask for permission anymore. The one that listens to their own desires, and that version who makes bold moves even when they're terrified. And that's where I come in. If you're listening to this and thinking, okay, great, but how do I even find that spark again? Where do I even begin? And what if I don't even know what I want anymore? That's literally what I help people with. I can help you peel back the layers, the social conditioning and all the things. I help you remember what makes you feel alive and help you reconnect to the part of you that's been asleep or hidden or pushed down under responsibility and routine. And then once we've named what actually matters to you, we build a plan, a real, bold, probably quite rebellious one. Because aliveness doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. So, based on this, I've created the Rebel Reset. It's a 90-minute deep dive with me where we cut through the noise and find the one thing that actually matters, the thing that's going to bring you back to life. You will walk away with clarity, a simple, bold action plan, a shift into your rebel identity. And I'm also going to throw in 7 days of my support on Voxer so you don't lose momentum after our conversation. It's powerful, it's focused, and honestly, it's the quickest way I know to get someone back into that feeling of, oh my God, I'm finally alive again. So if something in you is nudging you right now, you might want to trust it because it's probably your spark and your rebel spirit waking up. If you've been curious about working with me or you've been craving that feeling of finally, this is what I've been missing, here's your chance. Sometimes we don't want to have to commit to a 3-month coaching package. Sometimes we know what the problem is and we just want to get straight in and figure out our next move. The starting price for this is £147. You can book using the link in the show notes. I only have capacity for a few people in November. So jump in now while you've got the chance. December's going to get crazy for all of us. Let's get you stepping into the rebel version of yourself who actually takes action. One bold move, 90 minutes, a week of support. That's it. So you can finish 2025 owning your power instead of wishing you had. There are limited spots which close on the 22nd of November, and sessions are going to run until the end of the month. So you can contact me through the show notes or DM me on Instagram to claim your spot and step into your rebel self before the year ends. All right, Rebel, I hope this episode helps you to notice the moments that make you feel alive and reminds you that you deserve so much more than that autopilot, rinse and repeat living. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for a perfect moment, because aliveness is something that you get to choose. Stay mischievous, and I'll be back next week.
That's a wrap on another episode of the Mischief Movement podcast. If today's content stirred something in you, let's keep in touch on Instagram or connect with me on LinkedIn. You can even click the link in the show notes to sign up to my Mischief Mail newsletter, where you'll get exclusive insights on upcoming episodes and your chance to submit questions to future guests. But shh, don't tell anyone, it's our secret. For more info on ways to work with me and some fun free resources, check out the website themischiefmovement.com. Until next time, stay bold, stay rebellious, and of course, keep making mischief.